Y'all, I didn't realize that when I made that, it would just automatically, I don't know. When people started messaging, I'm like, what? I haven't hit live. I didn't know how that worked. Okay, I'm gonna play unsent.
I'm writing this to get it out of my system.
Oh, I don't know why it was. Stop. Why is it doing? Do you hear that? Do you hear that back? Oh, wait a minute. I'm watching it over here. You know, apparently, appa- is it nighttime? Do I need to sleep instead? I don't even know. Because what? I am too silly for my own good. Okay. All right, y'all. Take two. This is for all the people that hate my music. Just kidding. I'm telling you, I hate it. Try to be downers. Okay.
I'm writing this to get it out of my system. But I'm not sending it. I'm sorry to hear this, but I need to express how I feel. Why didn't you come to me if something bothered you? We had open communication and a friendship. You knew the effort and sacrifice that went into this film from the beginning, and you were always included. Your thoughts and opinions were always respected. So I don't understand why you wouldn't have just talked to me. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. The last time we spoke, you complimented me and expressed to me your gratitude for my efforts to honor the book. Then suddenly it disappeared, and I learned from the studio that you would only promote Blake's cut of the movie. I was forced to step down and let her finish the film, even though it performed worse. You cut off all communication and followed me along with the rest of the cast. I was devastated. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. I don't know what terrible things you heard about me that would be deserving of your actions. To be okay with Blake and Ryan running a smear campaign against me, leak their grievances to the press after taking over the film, excluding me from the press and premiere. When all of this could have just been handled like mature adults. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship. What you did was a heartbreak. It deeply affected my life and family. This wasn't just about the film. It was a betrayal of our friendship.
You know, it makes me sad. I mean, just actually just listening to that again. I always say friendship breakups are like the worst. Like the worst. it sucks when you're like somebody's meant so much to you and they're because I think somebody said it before. I think friendship breakups are harder than relationship breakups because sometimes there's in your head relationship, like romantic relationships, like not everybody expects those to go forever, but most people expect their friends to be their friends. But I mean, sometimes friends are just there for a season, I guess. So y'all, I had to like skip very out because I was like, y'all, I kept telling you I'm gonna leave at 7:30. Then it was like 7:45 and 7:50, and then I was like, okay, I gotta really leave because I have to be at work. And I and so I literally was like, bye. So Sarah would be proud of me because we joke about how Sarah of Yarn and Order, she says, I mean, she does these Irish goodbyes. She calls them Irish goodbyes. And so she just bye. And so I had to do that this morning. Now I'm looking to see because y'all, I've been trying to get Yarn in Order to oh, she's so close. So I've been trying to get Yarn in Order to 1K subscribers because she's been killing it in producing and creating content so that she already has her like watch hours. She just needs that means y'all are watching. I mean, I'm assuming some folks here are watching Sarah's stuff at Yarn and Order, but she really does need like this is one of the few times where subscribers matter a lot is monetization, because there's a lot of folks that watch but don't subscribe, and that's fine after you've already gotten to the point of monetization. But when you are not at a point of monetization and you know that people are watching but you just need some more, I'm just shouting it out. She's at 957. That means she only needs 43 more people before she can be like monetized. And she has been working so incredibly hard, y'all. So just a shout out to Yarn and Order. She just I think did a video right now to with Britt as well. And so um I've been so excited. There were four folks that had been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so they could get monetization. And 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 Sarah's the last one in regards to the subscribers, but she has her watch hours. On the flip side, if y'all like subscribe to Notorious Raven at Yarn and Order, if um yeah, at Yarn and Order is her at. And then for Notorious Raven, y'all's, you got her to 1K, but she actually needs like watch hours. Like I forget how much. I think the last time I had checked in with her, she needed 3,000 watch hours. So if y'all subscribe to her and you haven't had a chance to watch her videos yet, like I highly encourage that. A lot of us came from TikTok and then moved over here. I was encouraged to move over here because of not move. I'm obviously still on TikTok, but I was encouraged by CJ, so C Journalist 24 and Elsridge. And so every time I get an opportunity to talk to other folks, I'm like, y'all should come and do your content here on YouTube because we don't even know the future of TikTok in a lot of ways, right? The other thing I just wanted to say too is oh, I got to watch a little bit of Katie in KC, and she's doing a timeline, and her timeline I think goes in and out of like not just the docket, but like what was happening out in the world, articles, and it's so funny because I was talking to Carol, and we were talking about how so many of us are doing timeline stuff, but in the sense of like how we try to make sense of it. So it was really great to be able to see what Katie in KC's doing and like what she needs to be able to track what's happening. I've been a slow go. I've been with y'all's I mean it is kind of like a timeline over here, but not really. I'm just trying to see the text messages, which is eventually what Carol has also on hers, and hers is going to be amazing. Like on docket updates because she's going to do searchable text messages, which is so nice because these text messages are not necessarily searchable. And that's a big accessibility thing if you think about it. So, and technically every company should be like accessible in their stuff by, I think, April 2026, which technically, I mean, we should all have been compliant with accessibility stuff since, the law has been here for like the 90s, since the 90s, I think. Anyways, okay, that was just my side note. Um uh yeah. So let me go to the actual thing. So I think I abruptly stopped right here. So I've not read this. Also, just the mess official, were you the one I was talking to on Katie and Casey's live where I'm like, are you a mod for her? Because she needs a mod. And you were, if it was you, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Or am I right? Was it you? So if it was you, Jess, I nominate you. I don't know if it, if you're open to it, because I think you were already kind of doing it in a lot of ways, you know. No, 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 no. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. Not everybody wants to be a mod. I understand. It's a hard work. Christina kills it. Um, so shout out to Christina for always holding it down. So, um, and there is a skill set to it. I mean, Christina could honestly, you know, you could probably do a whole video around how to mod properly and how to mod well. So, anyways, sorry, it's, all of these thoughts are just, I'm a big jumbled mess this evening, but um yeah, well, I mean, Jazz, that's kind of what makes a great mod, is to to try to help create the vibe, that lines up with who the content creator is. Because one of the greatest things about y'all's, honestly, is like our lives. I mean, very rarely does somebody act out of pocket, but then they don't last very long here if they do. Like, they just get hidden the minute it happens, just because, like, look, life is too short to spend time like having people act up. Yeah, I like the chill group. That's what I prefer. I prefer chill. And I understand folks remind me and say, algorithms, it helps with all the comments, and it does. I'm not gonna lie, it probably does, but then it brings people that I don't necessarily want. You know what I mean? I mean, you can get a lot of people fast with people like saying mean things to you in your comment section, but then you just get a bunch of mean people. Like, why would I want that? I don't want that. I just want people who are nice. Now, we're not always going to be nice, right? All of us have bad days, right? I'm all down for people who have bad days. I have bad days. So if someone speaks out of pocket to me, but we've talked a lot, then I'm like, okay, you might be having a bad day. You know what I mean? But if your first comment to me is rude, you don't get to last longer than that. Because it's like, this was your introduction to me and you're mean, you don't stay. You don't stay. So, okay. I have to remind myself to put some sort of marker on these things to let folks know, like, when to skip. Because obviously this is a live, so sometimes people rewatch lives and they're like, oh my word, get to it. And I'm like, well, you were not in the space, were you? If you were in the space, this is getting to it. I am engaging with the people that came in here. But I do probably, I probably need to, I don't know. I don't know if I should work on editing stuff and like cutting these things out, but actually it takes too much. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked again. Okay, so I'm gonna stay focused. I don't know why I am so unresolved in my tonight. Like, I feel a little frazzled. Um I feel a little frazzled. Okay, sorry for the folks that are here just for Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively stuff and not necessarily here for me, but I got to tell you the story real quick. So this morning, for anybody who 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 came to my live this morning and heard the song that I wrote about the situation with quote unquote Derek, but his name's not Derek, you know. Anyway, so I told my childhood friend that I'm gonna go see him like maybe in a month and a half or two. And he's like, why not before you leave for the Philippines? And I'm like, are you happy that I made a point to go? I made an appointment to some degree. I'm doing it. You know, be happy with that. I was like, I have not seen this person for 14 years. What's another month or two? And he's like, exactly, though. You haven't seen him for 14 years. So why not sooner the better? And I was like, no. But then he's like, if you don't go see him before you leave for the Philippines, you're going to be thinking about it while you're there. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I won't be. But the problem is, ever since he said that, I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, oh my word, am I going to be thinking about it when I'm in the Philippines? I hope not. I'm not going to. I'm going to be busy doing other things. But is my stomach a little bit like nervous? And I hate the fact that I'm nervous. I hate it because then that makes me feel like I feel things and I don't want to feel things. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel things. And just I should be calm and collected and unaffected, but I am not, and I hate it. I really, really hate it. Just Khaleesi said, Bocce, is Derek a buddy or bestie yet? Tell him I'll upgrade if he does. Oh gosh. And I hate it because I am turning 47 years old this year. Okay. I should not be this unsettled in my spirit right now. I really should not be. Like, I am so unsettled and I hate it because this is like childhood friendship. And so do you know how much like you're brought back to a place? You know, yeah, yes, I'm currently 46. You know what? This year I kept forgetting that I was 46 and I kept telling people I was 47. And then I had to do the math because I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm not that yet, but I will be. I'm celebrating my birthday in like, I don't know exactly where I'm going to be celebrating my birthday. Maybe in the Philippines, maybe in Indonesia, maybe in Laos, maybe somewhere else. I haven't decided yet, but I am going to be out of the country when I'm celebrating my birthday. But whew, anyways, so all to say, I'm unsettled. It's driving me up the wall because I like to not be so. And then a part of me is like, my word, I'm being way too honest on the internet because now I don't think Derek watches any of my stuff. And if he does, you why don't you tell me if you do? But I don't think he does. So I feel like I could talk about it freely, but then I'm like, but then what if somebody else watches and knows him, and then it comes back? I don't know, but he knows I'm very honest with him, so sometimes too honest. Okay, so I gotta calm down. I'm literally like not. I'm literally my. I'm. I need to calm down. I should not have done this live because I'm like, am I emotionally here? Am I emotionally here? My heart is racing. I hate it. I hate it so much. And so I hate that my other friend implanted it in my brain that I'm going to be thinking about it because I wasn't thinking about it per se. So he told me, oh, you're going to be thinking about it. I'm like, ugh, power of suggestion. My cheeks are red. Great. Oh my word. And that's another thing I hate. Just like literally, I'm like stumbling over my words. I'm nervous. Oh, I hate it. I hate how because what am I going to do? Am I going to be nervous? Am I going to be awkward? What am I even going to do? I don't even know what I'm going to do when I see him. See, I'm not going to think about it because like, it's like, will I hug him? No, I don't think we hug. We don't ever hug. We've never hugged in our whole friendship. So why would we hug now? But it's so weird. I don't know. I'm a hugger though, but I hate it. I hate that I'm right. Just Khaleesi said, those feelings are nice though, because at least you feel alive. Well, maybe. um, Christina says you are overthinking. I am the queen of overthinking. That's also why I'm good at detail oriented things. Um, Gareth Walker was like, I don't want hugs. Yeah. Um, some folks are not huggers. And he's not a hugger. So I think he doesn't want hugs either. So I'm not gonna hug him. Um I'm going to oh gosh. I I I need to be normal. And I hate that I'm not being normal right now because if he is watching this, which I don't think he is, I'm dying. Hey, Christina. I was like, I thought Gelf does not like being hugged. You must know each other if you're joking. Gelf Walker said, what's normal in this day and age? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everything's upside down. Okay, y'all, so let me see if I finally calm myself down. I think I did, maybe. All right. Why am I why am I being dumb? I'm being so silly. I You know what? I will say this. I just never thought in my whole entire life when I was a kid, when I was like in my teenage years, right? When I was in my teenage years, this is not what I imagined a person my age would be feeling. I for some reason thought like, oh, once you hit a certain age, somehow you've got life figured out and like you're like your feelings don't come back to like when you were a teenager or all these different things. But the reality is, oh my word, yes, I still feel those things. I remember those things so vividly. And my childhood friend who came to visit me, his whole point was like, I think that who we were back then before the world did try to wreck our the way we see the world or whatever, right? He said, he said, I think that's the truest sense of who we are. And he said, and I know you and I know like you and him have like the person Derek whatever, he goes, you've always had a connection. He goes, that does not just go away. They will always be some people, like his whole point is like some people that's always going to be there, and sometimes that makes a person feel bad too, sometimes when you have a connection with someone and you're like, but you're like, that's not something that's going to happen kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because just because you feel something, you could be, I could be Dawson and I mean he could be Dawson and I'm Joey, you know what I mean? Where it's like you're platonic best friends for life. And I think we are, honestly. I don't even know why I'm stressing because we probably are. We probably are. That is what we are. We've always been. And I don't even see this is what people do. They mess with my brain, but they don't, because I think they just bring to light what I don't want to feel because it makes me feel unsettled. Just Khaleesi said hugs for everyone except Gelf. I love that. It's respecting what Gelf has requested. So no hugs, exactly. Okay. Have I gotten closer to calming myself down? I think so. Alrighty. So Rain Wilson says jaw dropping, but I feel like the page is turning soon. It did not turn, Rain Wilson. It turned a different way. Justin Darren said, Justin, I will continue to keep you in my prayers. JB said, love you all. Thank you, brothers. Is it Payam? Sent an MP4. Julian said, well, that's a mind blower. How cool. And then sent an MP4. Oh, congrats, Payam. Proud daddy moment. Oh, that's kind of sweet. So, what is a photo of like being at a concert that his daughter is doing? That's sweet. Navid said, Justin, you are and will be in my thoughts and prayers. Stay assured, this place where you are now, God circled on a map for you. ST said, Dear Justin, thank you for the courage to share your tests. Remembering you in my prayers every day. Lots of love. Adam says, oh, Omid, there are some things better left unsaid. Being televised while being thrown to the lions. is one of them. Thankfully, that was before PTSD was available to us. I think we should allow time at the next gathering for Justin to lead the brothers in sharing war stories. Meanwhile, prayers and more prayers. I will be in Haifa 2028 June and happy to take prayer requests if anyone wants to DM me. Omid said, good point, Shane. It's great that we can share vulnerability here. You were brilliant, and thanks for the, is it Haifa heads up? Andre said, how do we get one of those awesome hats? Okay. So just folks chatting. Okay. Then another Steve Sarowitz text message. This is 3 pages. Well, probably not. Okay. This is 8/14. 8/14/2024. 8/14. Where is my mouse? Oh, there it is. 8/14. Insert row. 1233-89. Text. Okay. So at 8/14/2024, Justin Baldoni texts Steve at 6:48 a.m. and said, I'm on the plane heading home from Sweden. Steve says, okay, welcome back. Just checking in to tell you I love you and to tell you how proud I am of you. We were #1 in the world at the box office the last couple of days. Your interviews have been sterling. And Justin said, thank you. Things are getting intense, which is why I'm flying home. And Steve said, sorry to hear that. I'm ready to help in any way I can. It seems that everything Blake and Ryan have done has backfired. I think Baha'u'llah, sorry if I'm butchering that, loves you and is protecting you far better than I can. Jamie is also doing great. Justin says, I feel it. We are hiring a lawyer just in case. And you are already helping by Wayfarer, paying for the PR teams. That's you loving me. I appreciate you. And then he says that statement, I don't know. Ya Allah ula I'm sorry. And this is my favorite line from Steve. This is my favorite line from Steve. If we never make another movie and I lose all my invested money, I will still love you and Jamie. And I said that, like, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' billionaire friends are not close to this at all. It's not close to this at all. Because their billionaire friends, I don't know if if they lost their billionaire friends a lot of money, I don't think they're going to be like, I love you. I think a lot of their friendships are connected to the money they make each other, to be honest. And Justin said same. He said same, minus like maybe the fact that like he has way less money but to lose, but yeah, same. But I love this text. It's very, very moving to me. Okay. 17, exhibit 17 for Steve Sarowitz. 120, I mean not 120, sorry. This one is okay, I haven't seen this one. This is January 5, 2025. 1/1/2025. This is 1233.90 and copy, and this is a text. It says, it's a good start. Should she also point out that the other women were hurt by Blake, including the assistant director and editors and the wives of the men Blake falsely accused? Also, should Sage address the fact that the Times recklessly included personal information that endangered the safety of Jen and Melissa? Lastly, what about the Times doubling down on its lies and calumny? I don't know what that means. Even after we provided detailed proof that the allegations it had previously published were false. And then Sage said, I think it's good to add that the New York Times included their personal information, which goes along with the death threats that I mentioned. I didn't realize the New York Times did that. I may have like blocked it out of my memory. Sage says, and I can add many women who are a part of the production. Not sure I should go too much deeper there based on trying to make it look organic, like I don't have too much insider info. Okay, that's not going to look good. Because they're going to be like, well, then you're actively being deceptive if you're trying to make it look organic. That's the thing that they're fighting Wayfair on, that things weren't organic. But the problem for them is that the one time they have something like that, well, I shouldn't say the one time, they're already like in a lawsuit. So I don't know. So I have no idea. But I mean, I would think that that's probably why Blake Lively put this into law. This is part of Blake's evidence. So I understand why she put this one in. Because if you're using terms like try to make it look organic, I don't have too much insider info. And yes to New York Times doubling down. But you know what? At the same time, she's not sharing. The thing is, I watched Sage's video after this whole thing, and I'm like, but everything she said was publicly available. Some of it I didn't even agree with because I still thought she was a little bit off with some of the facts, just a tiny bit, and I was like, eh. So I would have never guessed that she had talked to them because I'm like, and that's actually not what they said here and here. So I feel like she still injected her own personal thoughts because I mean, she did share it prior to saying it. They could have called her out on not saying certain things, but I don't know. Anyways, I mean, I'll give this to Blake's team because I think this is. I mean, if they're going to try to find something, this is probably one of the closer ones to what they were saying. And he goes, sounds good. I agree on other women being vague. And then she sent Sage version 2, I think. And he says, looking good. A few minor suggestions. Instead of Team Blake, change to Blake's team. Also, do you want to add the wives of the men who were falsely accused as well? Jen said sharing some notes as well. Made a few notes in red. Completely up to you to include or, of course, rewrite in your own words. And you know what? Somebody once told me, we don't do this. That's not what journalists do or whatever. But then is Sage a journalist? Maybe she is. I have no idea. Content creator? I don't know. But she said, made a few notes in red. Completely up to you to include, of course, rewrite in your own words. So she's just giving her suggestions, but said, just do what you want to do. Jen Abel said something and said, Jamie says, I think leave the live. Oh, okay. Jamie says, I think leave the wives out. It feels too manipulative. Also, I think you changed. Blake's team has alleged there was an invasion of privacy, suggesting that Justin and Jamie would barge into Blake's trailer while she was breastfeeding. Again, look at the text. BL invited them into her trailer so they could keep working while she was feeding her baby. The text messages prove it. Text messages that the New York Times chose to omit. Well, what? Oh, sorry, I startled myself. What text though? There's one about pumping. I've never seen any other text. So you can't say text with an S. Don't be like Blake there, Jamie. I mean, that was cruel. I should never compare. But you know what I mean? Don't add an S if there's no S. That's the one thing that I got at. Well, there's many things that Blake Lively has done to aggravated me. But one of the biggest one is that she continually adds S to things that don't have an S. Don't say there's an S. And the text messages prove it, text messages that the New York Times chose to omit. And then Jen said, I edited this part as well. Need to make the distinction that she invited him in while pumping. And she put pumping in caps. Because there is a difference. And women are calling this out online. And Steve says, looks good to me. And Jen says, sharing Sage's video here for the team to review. She sends it over. He says, can you resend? Not playing for me. And Jen said, it takes a while to load. Sage, do you mind sending directly here in case me copying is slowing it down? And Sage says, sure. I wonder if it's slower because it's an iCloud link and not everyone has iPhones. I'm a tech idiot, though. Who knows? Well, after that website one, I'm pretty sure, like those text messages when they were talking about the website, you are not alone there about not being tech savvy. Hello, Tina. All right, 12:33, 9 to 1. Okay. Oh, so these are all gonna be things that happen after the lawsuit had already been in place. Okay, so there's January 2. I'm gonna put this in. There might be, y'all, I was talking about creating a new thing like with what do you call it? Like comment creators. So I've been doing a series with content creators, but comment creators have thoughts and opinions too that sometimes can't just be conveyed on via comments alone. So there's one person that I engaged with after the whole the discussion on Justin Baldoni being a white man video. So I need to set up an official time with her to do that video. I know, I mean, Basha, you're in the space. We'll probably have something from Basha. I know other folks wanted to. I think maybe, am I wrong? I feel like Rachel, maybe Christina, did you say? I'm trying to remember who said that they'd be down to do a video. But I will tell you that Basha probably can feel this in my responses too. Like, I'm trying to leave space because I mean Basha makes really great points. Basha makes really great points, but I feel like Basha probably can feel it where I'm like battling. I don't like hearing this, but I have to sit with it. You know what I mean? Because that's, if you want to be intellectually honest about things, sometimes you're going to have to hear things that's like, okay, so I think that Basha offers a perspective around what Wayfair could have done or should have done. Basha said, I hate writing it, to be honest. But I mean, with that said, I mean, I still don't believe they did what she claimed, right? But in essence, it's holding them. I mean, it's basically a reminder that maybe if the policies and procedures were followed through in a way that it needed to be followed through, like she wouldn't have been able to do what she ended up doing. And I mean, at the same time, I get frustrated too because I look at Sony and I'm like, where were y'all's? Like, where was SAG? I mean, there's so many places where I'm like, yes, they failed, but so did everybody, like systemically all around them failed. And it was like, it was just so frustrating. And the one time, and what's frustrating to me, Basha, the one time they try to get her to sign the contract, the one time they have any sense of leverage over her, Sony comes up in here, Josh, sorry, Josh. I'm so mad at Josh. And Josh is out there like, no, please don't make her sign her contract. Okay, you paying for this, Josh? Are you gonna pay for all of this? I'm just like, the audacity, the audacity of the man. Oh, you're going to hold this up. He's going to hold it up. Who's holding everybody up hostage? Who's that holding everyone hostage? It's certainly not them, Josh. Yeah, I'll throw my hands down on that director's chair, Josh. My word. Ugh, can't stand it. Can't stand it. Ugh. I'm sorry. You know what though? The majority of the folks up in this space, I think, you know, I gotta look at my flow app because I think this might also explain it. Because I'm 3 days away, and I know I get extra feisty, like my my like filters lessen. So Ashley Marie Lopez said, but you have to remember from the attorney's perspective, like NAG and LGA, they have said this is not a corporate setting, so it's not so cut and dry. Yeah, Ashley, the points that Bosch is saying more is that there's actual like policies and procedures that ideally, if you're following it, would have been protection. I mean, it's kind of like they should have investigated. Now, mind you, I understand why they didn't investigate because literally I think in living it real time, I honestly think they thought things were resolved. And usually, like when you people get disciplined in corporate America, like you don't get fired after the first thing. Like once something happens, they bring it up, people investigate it, they make some decisions, you get put on a PIP or all these different things. There's usually a process. But one of the first things usually is that people, unless it's incredibly egregious, usually, you know, they the if you can work it out with your supervisors, usually it's preferred. And there was and I don't think they thought there was anything inappropriate because they didn't think that what she was accusing them was of SH. That's why I think that's why I think people are like, well, they should have known. But the thing is, I wouldn't have known that that's what she was accusing. Like looking at what was happening in real time, I genuinely, and I think that's why Ange didn't either. She didn't see that as SH. And so I think because of that, that was part of the reason. If they thought that she was accusing them of SH, I think they would have taken things way more seriously than they did. But they thought, okay, I said sorry. I said sexy. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again, and stop doing it. Oh, you don't want to be hugged? I won't hug you. Okay, I guess issue resolved. And she made it seem like it was resolved until it was not. Um. Oopsie. Well, here's the thing, Basha, and I responded to your email. So it was Alex Sachs that sent the email to Jamie Heath, right? Said to Jamie Heath, hey, I think Sony should take the lead on it. She sends an email confirming that Jamie was down with it, was fine with it going to Sony. Sony's the one that said no. Sony was the one that said no, according to the thing that you sent me, right? And says we expect the studio to be the one that handles it, and that is what they did. They had Wayfarer handle it because usually the studio handles the HR. And the only reason I push back on the idea that there was no HR procedure is literally you had a sound mixer that got to put his official complaint in. There was a process, and the person's union got involved. That's why I'm always wondering, why did SAG not get involved? It was not that they didn't have a process. If they had no process, how did the sound mixer get to put his HR complaint and get it investigated? And so I do think that, and I said it really reminds me a lot of what Blake Lively did with the makeup artist. Because even with a makeup artist, she did not go through HR. She complained to the producers. The producers didn't give her what she wanted, so she went straight to her lawyers. She claims they did an investigation, but in the end, the guy was let go, but with a letter of recommendation. So I don't think if they found him guilty of anything, he would have been given a letter of recommendation. I think they said, look, she does not want you here. we're going to have to let you go, but we'll get you another job, honestly. Um, but anyways, that's just my own thoughts. But it was Sony that said no. I was wondering why they didn't go with Sony, but from what Ange said in that deposition and in what you sent me, it makes sense that when Alex said, "Hey, Jamie is okay with it. He's down to have that happen," and it never happened. So that's why they went to a third party to do the harassment training and a third party to handle like the hotline. Um, and Jamie didn't think anything of it. And I think in his head, he said, "I deferred to Alex and the line producers because they said that they were going to be the ones that people would go to." But then the problem is there was nobody who knew, or they claim at least that they didn't know. My question though is, how did the sound mixer seem to know? Or maybe he didn't. That's why he had to go through his union. But again, why didn't they get SAG involved? So I have a lot of questions around that. Okay, so let's go back to the reading, because we could go there forever, and we might. Oh no, he really no. They went with a third party. I did, at least at the very least, they did a third party for the sexual harassment, and we saw the company that they use for the third party. But the problem was the third party number is for safety, and that was their point. Like, if it's safety, are people going to think that that's about HR? And when we looked at the website for that company, like, yes, there's compliance that they have and all that stuff, but I mean, they did have a third party for sure, but they also had Wayfarer as the one that handles it. And that's why I'm saying, if they said that they don't like, it's the I was actually yelling at the expert over continually saying that they didn't have any HR. That is absolutely not the case. And that's why when he that's why when he uh when he was getting not cross-examined, when he was getting deposed, the person that's Wayfair saying, "But you do recognize that there was an HR." And he's like, "Yeah, well, with the studio," but it's like, but that's their whole point. And that's even the point of Ange. We expect the studio to handle it, not the studio to have a third party to handle it, but the studio to handle it. And that's what he's saying. Most independent movies, the studio handles it. And that's how the sound mixer got it handled. He went to them, said, "Hey, who do I talk to about this issue?" They gave him the information. They got connected to Wayfarer's HR, and it did get investigated. So that's why I'm like, I have a hard time believing that a sound mixer has more access to know, you know? Well, that's because that's the questioning, right? That's the question. So the question is, was that the reasoning? And the answer is potentially yes, right? Potentially no, because Jamie's like, "That's not how I understand that." But I can make a case that Alex felt that way, right? Where it's like, because he's the director, he's the actor, he's the studio person, that it's better to have whatever. But he's not HR. And I don't understand why people think Wayfair Studios handling it would necessarily compromise anything. Because they still have you still have to have the laws in place, yada yada yada. He's not running HR. I mean, I work in companies. A person can have multiple hats, but there's the HR people are still the HR people. They're not at all the same. Just because somebody's a president or whatever, but you can bring in a third party, and they did have third party, but not necessarily for investigations, just for complaints if they have complaints or things of that nature. Again, the company didn't seem like all that. I mean, I don't know what companies, you just look up the safety phone number and you can go to their website and see what they are. But the website wasn't that impressive to me. So I don't know how well they did or not. But Kelth Walker said, "Basha, yeah, Blake wore every hat." You're funny. I mean, according to her, she did, right? She's a woman of multitudes, an amalgamation. Okay, Steve Sarowitz said, "David, meet Bryan Freedman, the attorney who's running Wayfair Studios case against the New York Times and Blake Lively. Bryan, David is the person who can make Sage's video go viral. David, I spoke with Bryan and we are both on board with engaging your services ASAP to do this. Elsie, can you please set up a meeting later today or tomorrow with Bryan, David, and me to discuss? Bryan, who else would you like in this meeting? And that's from Steve. Steve, I love you. Okay. Um, the fact that you said this David is going to help Sage's video go viral, that this video did not go viral. Okay. I'm sorry. This video did not go viral. So they should have had Jed. Because who's this David? This David person did not do a good job. I mean, and I don't know if Sage is a person that is. There was nothing viral about this video, so it kind of cracks me up. He's like, this person will make it go viral, but it did not. So yeah, that just cracked me up. I mean, I don't know if Steve even understood what he was saying there. Okay. So then it says, good morning. Steve is available to speak the following times. Please let me know what is best for all. Please note that all times listed are in CT. So today, Thursday, January 2nd, tomorrow, Friday, January 3rd, 2, 3, or 4, CT. Thank you, Elsie. As Steve says, tomorrow is a little worse for me because I'm flying to Houston for a funeral. Also, 3 p.m. Central today is not good. We have another call. And then Steve says, sorry, 3 p.m. today is available. After all, my mistake. And David says, 3 CT today works for me. And then confirming that 3 CT works for all, says Elsie. Calendar invite with Zoom link sent to hold the time on calendars, said Elsie. And that's it. Okay, 241. 117. Why is she putting a bunch of that she did ask to have things after the lawsuit had already commenced. So Melissa Nathan says sends an article, People Magazine article, and that says Blake Lively compared herself to Khaleesi in text to Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. And then another one that says Justin Baldoni claims Blake Lively named It Ends With Us party drink after film abuser. You know what's wild? After everything that Blake Lively did, it's amazing that they still felt comfortable texting. They probably thought, okay, I'm done. So Melissa sends another text to, wait a minute. Yeah. Blake Lively named It Ends With Us party drink after film abuser. Blake Lively joked about his nose. It ends with us plastic surgery. Oh, you know what? I guess People Magazine have done things that would be viewed like showing Justin's side. Maybe I didn't. You know what? I'm gonna see who wrote these, because I'm like, who did? Jen. Okay, because I was like, I would be very surprised if it was Van Hoos, because Van Hoos is very Blake Lively oriented. Page not found. Oh, they removed the party drink story. Interesting. They took away the nose story. Interesting. So the only one they kept was the Khaleesi one. That's interesting. Jennifer Abel sends the Daily Mail story about the nose job. Okay, not gonna do that. I don't know why that came up. Jen sends a U.S. magazine article about Blake Lively allegedly told Justin Baldoni to get a nose job. Melissa sends one that says every new claim in Justin Baldoni's $400 million Blake Lively lawsuit. And Jen sends one about Justin Baldoni shows family being held in basement and it ends with us premiere. And Steve says, thanks, we are making progress. And Jen shares Just Jared's, Justin Baldoni addresses, it ends with us cast on following him, shares Isabella Ferrer text message exchange. And Steve sends a TikTok from Noel. And Jen sends a Hollywood Reporter article, movie news, how Deadpool, Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, nice pool. Okay, that's it. And so this is Blake Lively's evidence, I guess, to say, hey, after they sued me, these news organizations wrote about what was in the what they were suing. Okay, yeah, they did. And okay, 101 pages. What is this? 101 pages? Wait, why? Why would this be 101 pages? Oh, no wonder. It's the cease and desist. I was like, I am not reading 101 pages. I'm sorry. It's the cease and desist on December 20. Good evening. We represent Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and a number of other entities outlined in the attached correspondence. Please see the attached cease and desist letter addressed to each of you, which requires your immediate attention and action. Please also find attached the complaint and right to sue letter reference in the cease and desist letter. Okay. I'm obviously not going to read that, but it is 101 pages. And I feel like I need to check that there is not additional things because it should not be 101. It should have been like 80, 90 something, even with this one page. So there might be something else that I need to look at. 1233 93. This is an email. I mean, honestly, I've never seen the joke that she made to Justin as a bad sign. Actually, to me, it was a good sign that she made that joke. And I do think it was a joke. And the reason I think it's good is because Blake Lively says that when she likes you as a person, she ball busts you. The problem started when she no longer ball busted. You know what I mean? That's when you knew something was wrong. But the fact that she was joking with him right there, and I mean, and it's kind of like, how people think that they can joke about something with someone if it's true about them. If it's true about them. She's had a nose job, so she feels like she can make a joke about a nose job because she's had a nose job. You know what I mean? So sometimes people are like, I can make this joke because it's true about me. So I feel like she made the joke because she knows that she's got a nose job. And so she would know like what it takes to get one. So I really thought it was a joke. And I thought, hey, that means they were in good terms because she was ball busting. Because the minute she started getting ice cold, no more jokey jokes, that's when you knew you were on the outs with her. And then, okay, so this is the additional parts that they added. The Dear Blake Lively, this letter informs you that the above referenced complaint filed with the Civil Rights Department has been closed effective December 2024 because an immediate right to sue notice was requested. This letter is also your right to sue notice. According to Government Code Section 12965, Subdivision B, a civil action may be brought under the provisions of the Fair Employment and Housing Act against the person, employer, labor organization, or employment agency named in the above reference complaint. The civil action must be filed within 1 year from the date of this letter. To obtain a federal right to sue notice, you must contact the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to file a complaint within 30 days of receipt of the CRD notice of case closure, or within 300 days of the alleged discriminatory act, whichever is earlier. Which 300 days of the alleged discriminatory act? Did she? So she was well past that, wasn't she? I feel like she was well past that deadline, depending on what she was trying to claim. You know, this is my favorite line. If it shows up here, this line: I, Ezra Hudson, am the attorney in the above entitled complaint. I have read the foregoing complaints and know the contents thereof. The matters I alleged are based on information and belief, which I believe to be true. And I used to ask people, is that normal to write in these verification things? It is not. The fact that she put that cracked me up, because usually that's not how they phrase it. But she just wanted to get on record that this is upon, like, I believe it based off of what I know, but I gotta put that little caveat there. And I mean, it says a lot when most people don't have to say that at all. It's kind of a given. So when someone writes that and it's not customary, because you know how many things are customary when you write things. So you always have to like notice when something's out of the ordinary. Like, why would you say that when it's kind of like, that's a no duh. That's what you're literally verifying. And when you look at other verification versions, they don't say it like that. So to me, that's a couching statement. Like, the only reason I believe this is because this is how she told me, and I think she's telling me the truth upon information and belief. But most lawyers have to trust their client, so that's why it's like weird to phrase it that way when no other lawyers typically do. And so I just felt like that's a cover your butt situation. To Wayfarer Studios LLC, blah blah blah. Okay, this is this is who they sent the cease and desist to, and every one of these folks got sued except for now I kept saying her name wrong, and someone corrected me because I kept saying I mean, but it might be Imene or Imen. Anyways, there's a person on TikTok that corrected me, but I could tell she was copying an attitude. Like, why are you even talking blah 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 blah, right? But I try to believe. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm reading tone into it that's not there, because you know you're reading text. Sometimes you're reading text in a tone that's not really yours. Like, not really like the tone that they're using. So she asked the question, and even though I didn't think that she was really asking with good intention, I answered it as if she did. And then she came back with some rudeness. And I was like, okay, I gave you that one chance because I wasn't fully sure if you were being snidey with me. But now that I know, bye. Okay, so I see Yarn and Order. Sarah, I was hyping you up and saying folks need to go over there and subscribe to you. Imene? But I was telling folks if they that you know, like, you got your watch hours, because people are watching, but we were trying to get you to that 1,000 subscriber count. So I see you're very close, just 43 away. Okay. So we've read all of this stuff already, so I'm not going to bother. But you can tell after now that we've seen the Van Zan complaint, I mean Van Zan subpoena, we know that they always were trying to make this about it ends with us, even though Van Zan had nothing to do with it. Okay, now we've got Abel. So, okay, this is the Megan Toohey email. Ah, why do I do that? Okay, here we go. This is email. Okay, email. Email. All right, so Megan Toohey emails on December 20 at 6:46 p.m. and says, Miss Abel, we are reporting about a crisis communication operation conducted on behalf of Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Wayfarer Studios to protect their reputations and harm Blake Lively's, as described in a legal complaint filed today. Our reporting found that you participated in the effort, which was undertaken last summer out of concern that complaints Miss Lively had made during the filming of Exodus would become public during the movie's rollout. We have learned that Miss Lively filed the legal complaint against you, Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Wayfarer, Melissa Nathan, and Jed Wallace, alleging sexual harassment, retaliation, and aiding and abetting of harassment and retaliation, among other claims. The complaint claims misconduct on the part of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath during filming, including repeatedly violating physical boundaries and making sexual and other inappropriate comments. The complaint includes a side letter to her contract signed by Mr. Heath, in which the studio agreed to install more safeguards during filming and agreed not to retaliate against Miss Lively. She is now saying they violated the terms of the letter. The complaint includes extensive private text messages and emails that she obtained through a subpoena and that document the crisis communications operation. They include exchanges involving you, your team, Mr. Baldoni, and Mr. Heath. The New York Times reviewed these along with other documents. Sure, you did. We are seeking your response to the claims of retaliation through this PR campaign, and we would welcome the opportunity to talk with you on the record. Please offer any on the record comment as well as any other information you think we should know. Additionally, please notify us of any inaccuracies like you care. We need to hear back from you tomorrow by noon Eastern. Among Miss Lively's allegations, in May, several months after the filming wrapped, Mr. Baldoni was worried when he realized that Ryan Reynolds had blocked him on Instagram. We should have a plan for if she does the same when the movie comes out. Mr. Baldoni wrote you in a text message. Plans make me feel more at ease. You were already working as a publicist for Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath hired Melissa Nathan, a crisis communication specialist, who in turn brought in Mr. Wallace. The plan was to harm Miss Lively's reputation. Miss Nathan shared a planning document in early August describing options to pursue if Miss Lively or her team went public with complaints about Mr. Baldoni's and Mr. Heath's behavior. She suggested talking points to use with reporters, including that Miss Lively used an imbalance of power to take creative control of the film. Just that's what happened. Mr. Baldoni wanted more. You wrote to Miss Nathan, I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. Miss Nathan responded, of course, but when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do because that could get us in a lot of trouble. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, we will destroy her. Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. We can bury anyone, she added, but I can't write that to him. 3 days later, Mr. Baldoni texted you flagging a social media thread that accused another celebrity of bullying behavior and that had generated 19 million views. Mr. Baldoni wrote, this is what we would need. Miss Nathan presented proposals to hire contractors to dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads of theories and generally working to change narrative. You wrote to Miss Nathan, I think we need to put the social combat plan into motion. And she responded, so do I. The team worked to block stories about Mr. Baldoni's behavior that had concerned Miss Lively and reinforce negative ones about the actress. The press coverage probing Mr. Baldoni's separation from Miss Lively and the rest of the cast was largely vague and didn't include the most serious allegations against Mr. Baldoni. Miss Nathan texted you he doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. We need to press on him just how effing lucky. The whispering in the ear, the sexual connotations, like other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, there is just so much. Why don't you add the addition? See, here's my question to Megan Toohey. Then why don't you read the next lines? If you are reading these text messages, why did you cut off right there? You know what the next line says. You know what the next line says. You know what the rest of the text thread says. So why would you only go up to that when you know what's going to come up next? Miss Nathan indicated that she succeeded in keeping allegations against you out of stories, and wrote in one that major news outlets were standing down on HR complaint. You wrote to Miss Nathan, so are we in the clear now? Did we survive? And she responded, we survived. All press is so overwhelming. We've confused people, so much mixed messaging. It is actually really funny if you think about it. Under the official promotion plan, Miss Lively focused on the uplifting nature of the film rather than abuse. When the PR team saw that the critics accused her of being tone deaf, the group decided that Mr. Baldoni would highlight survivors of domestic violence. You know, that's not the timeline of how that worked. There are references, and I mean, if you really reviewed everything, there are references in emails to social manipulation and proactive fan posting, and text messages cite efforts to boost and amplify online content that was favorable to Mr. Baldoni or critical of Miss Lively. Miss Nathan sent you a comment from Mr. Wallace that we are crushing it on Reddit. The next day, one of her employees texted, we've also started to see a shift on social, due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative. Miss Nathan wrote to you, and socials are really, really ramping up. In his favor, she must be furious. It's actually sad because it just shows you how people really want to hate on women. When a TikTok sleuth started asking questions about Mr. Baldoni, you texted that we flagged to Jed and his team for more serious action on the social side. You wrote to Miss Nathan, the narrative online is so freaking good, and fans are still sticking up for Justin, and there literally has been no pickup of those two articles, which is actually shocking to me, but I see this as a total success, as does Justin. You did such amazing work. Miss Nathan responded, narrative is crazy good, so did you. The majority of socials are so pro-Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them. LOL. Mr. Baldoni periodically looked for assurances that the crisis team was not deploying bots. Miss Nathan wrote that they were not using bots and that Mr. Wallace's operation is doing something very specific in terms of what they do. I know Jamie and Jed connected on this. Interesting that you don't bring up the fact that they brought up that Blake uses bots. And actually, you could go to Blake Lively's page right now. Actually, I wonder if she has bought some more bots lately. I don't know if she buys these bots, but oh gosh, I don't know how to. I forget. I don't know how to log into these things. Do you have to log in? I can't ever log in on here because I don't have that saved. Followers. You have to sign in. I hate this. Okay, I'm gonna look in my phone and see what the most recent. Because the last time I looked at Blake Lively's page, she had a bunch of new followers that had no faces and one follower, and then all of them look the same. She's at 41.8 right now. Yep, she has a bunch of Zoes. So I wish I wish I could show. Well, I actually maybe I can show you. Wait, which way? Wait, no, I suck at holding. But if you can see all, I mean, you can just go to her page. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 photos of the same person, the same account, a bunch of, and she does this every time she drops a lot of followers. Again, I don't know if she's doing it or her team is doing it, But I don't know why they do it. Or I don't know why they don't just let her count go down. Just let it go down. What's the word? Like, why is there such a care? Wouldn't you rather just have real people that support you be on there instead of like constantly just, because she does this every single, I mean, I remember I did a video on it a long time ago where it was another group of just like constant like bots. And again, now she still has lower than majority of like people at her level of followers. She still has a low percentage, at least the last time I checked, which was a while ago. I don't know if it's higher now. But my thing is, I don't understand why she just doesn't let them just go lower. Let it go lower. It's already gone lower. What's the worst thing that can happen? You just would rather be, keep the Aries in your life, your ride and dies, but really it's a ride or die for Ryan Reynolds more than you, but still. On August 16, when Miss Nathan, on August 16, when Miss Nathan shared a Daily Mail article and headlined, "Is Blake Lively set to be canceled?" Spelled the same way and in all caps as Taylor Swift's song, because she loves her friends canceled. You responded, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece." And Miss Nathan wrote, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." Minus the emoji. The manipulated media coverage and online commentary became an unusually high percentage of Miss Lively's online presence. The manipulated media coverage? She was branded tone deaf, difficult to work with, a bully. Sales of her new hair care line plummeted. Sincerely, Megan. You know what? Katie in KC on her timeline was talking about like certain numbers that needed to be hit for her brand or something, her products. I mean, there's so many reasons I think they made the decisions of what they did do. And I think it has a lot of it has to do with money. I mean, they're the ones that put out an article in like early March 2023 saying they were going to be the next billionaire couple. Well, I should say that they're not the ones, but articles started coming out saying they were going to be the next billionaire couple back on March 2023. And it's like, what gives you the impression that they're going to be the next billionaire couple? But it was. So Jennifer says, "Megan, please see the on record statement that must be included in full, attributed to the attorney for Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and all its representative, Bryan Freedman." So as you see, they requested that it be put into the article in full. They did not put it in full. Instead, what they did was they cherry picked the quotes and then put a link to the full statement. And you know what percentage drops, right? You know what the percentage drops of how many people will be willing to click that link to see the full thing. That's why the Hollywood Reporter actually did better, because they actually did print the whole statement by Bryan Freedman. I know y'all's might have to read it. Christina said, "Didn't you have to pay to actually see the whole statement?" I vaguely remember having someone say that it was behind a paywall. So there's all these things that weren't behind a paywall. They made sure everybody got to see it, and then they put that one up behind a paywall, is what I heard from somebody. I can't fact check that because I didn't look at that time, but somebody said it. Again, not definitive. It says, "It is shameful that Miss Lively and her representatives would make such serious and categorically false accusations against Mr. Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and its representatives as yet another desperate attempt to fix her negative reputation, which was garnered from her own remarks and actions during the campaign for the film, interviews and press activities that were observed publicly in real time and unedited, which allowed for the internet to generate their own views and opinions. These claims are completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious with an intent to publicly hurt and rehash a narrative in the media. Wayfair Studios made the decision to proactively hire a crisis manager prior to the marketing campaign of the film to work alongside their own representative with JonesWorks, employed by Stephanie Jones, who you don't mention at all in this article. That's me ad-libbing. Oh, when I ad-libbed, it made me think of Elsridge, because sometimes Elsridge would read stuff and then she'd be like, that's my ad-lib, or whatever she would say. Due to the multiple demands and threats made by Miss Lively during production, which included her threatening to not showing up to set, threatening to not promote the film, ultimately leading to its demise during release if her demands were not met. It was also discovered that Miss Lively enlisted her own representative, Leslie Sloan, with Vision PR, who also represents Mr. Reynolds, to plant negative and completely fabricated and false stories with media even prior to any marketing had commenced for the film, which was another reason why Wayfarer Studios made the decision to hire a crisis professional to commence internal scenario planning in the case they needed to address. The representatives of Wayfarer Studios still did nothing proactive, nor retaliated, and only responded to incoming media inquiries to ensure balanced and factual reporting and monitored social activity. What is pointedly missing from the cherry-picked correspondence is the evidence that there were no proactive measures taken with media or otherwise, just internal scenario planning and private correspondence to strategize, which is standard operating procedure with public relations professionals. Then Megan said, "Thank you for your response. Can you kindly clarify who's represented by this statement? Is this statement on behalf of Mr. Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarwitz, you, Miss Abel, and Melissa Nathan, who is CC'd on this message? Please let me know." And Jen says, yes, and Jed Wallace. And Megan says, "Thank you." Okay. Let me put this here too. No, that's why. I was like, I don't like how that light feels. Okay, 12:33:94, and that was an email. Okay. Let's see how much more I can get done before I skedaddle. Wayfarer. If this is not an email, okay, it is an email. This is, dear Mr. Freedman, please see the attached correspondence, and it's a cease and desist letter on December 23. 12/23/2024, 12:33:95, and it's an email. $96. Is it the attachment? Yeah, it's the cease and desist. I'm not going to read this. I've read it. I think I've read this before somewhere else, but I'm not interested in reading this right now. Abel. Okay. This is another. Oh. No, I think I've actually read that one as well, but I'm also only looking for text messages or emails for what I'm doing right now. Okay, this is 12/33/99, and it's for January 2. Undo. Text. All right, so this is between Rainn Wilson and Steve Sarwitz. Rainn said, "I feel like this is fair." And he sends a CNN article about Jessa Baldoni, Blake Lively, Wagmeister, DNT. I don't know what that says. Anyways, he says, "Right now I'm in the mindset of my name is Inigo Montoya. Oh, Princess Bride. You killed my My friend's career prepared to. I watched it. Not bad. The New York Times doubled down on their lies. So through are in trouble. So they are in trouble. I watched it. Not bad. The New York Times doubled down on their lies. So they are in trouble. Um, Rainn Wilson said in this article, off to Africa. He goes, enjoy. He emailed you the New York Times article. And then he put Justin Baldoni sues New York Times over Blake Lively article. Comments are here are mixed, but lean toward you. He goes, only the beginning. Okay. You know what? I will say, Steve. No, Steve is a. Steve. He says that he that's his weakness. He has a temper. Okay, 12:33. Okay, more 1-3. Oh, this is the stage stuff. I've read this already. I'm not really interested in reading it. I want to read Sony's reaction to the New York Times article so bad. But they don't have it, do they? They don't have ones, or do they? That I just happen to not have received yet. I'm not going to read this because I've read this one. Sorry, folks. Sorry if you're interested in that. I didn't read 1233-100. You can read it on your own. Okay. Yeah, I've read this too. I guess I'm not as interested with everything that whenever Blake puts a bunch of things that are after the lawsuit has already happened. I know the judge allowed her to, but like the majority of it I really don't care about because it's like, okay, Blake. It's kind of like when she stuck a bunch of text messages about other clients that Jed has. Like, okay, I mean, it doesn't matter to your case really. Oops, wrong one again. 101. One three. It's still more of Sage. I'll still put it in, but it's kind of funny that Steve thought Sage would go viral. There's nothing in that video that would make her go viral. 1/3/2025. 12/33/102. Text. We're getting anything good. This is about talking about the website. RK adding all, please do start on the website build. Something clean, great looking with all donations going to DV. We will release all text exchanges and voice. Oh, I wish. Oh my word. Oh, what? It would have been a treasure trove. Oh, why not? My curious nature would have. Oh my word. Can you imagine, y'all, if they did do this? I mean, I guess they made the decision that it was not the best route, but oh my word. Because maybe they were like, no, we gotta make sure that it doesn't get compromised or whatever. It has to make it into the actual docket. But they were saying, RK, adding all, please do start on a website build. Something clean, great looking with all donations going to DV. We will release all text exchanges and voice notes / voice messages. Melissa, Jen, Jamie, Justin, Blake, Leslie, SJ, etc., etc. We have nothing to hide. And not only do we have nothing to hide, but we are disgusted that this has come to this. So we want to show full transparency and release the truth, but also make sure the DV community benefits. Spencer, please meet Rosa, who Jed and I know very well. Let's all jump on a call today. Thank you. And Melissa said, Riley, start a signal group on this, which I added you into. Rosa has some questions on this. When are you free this weekend? Monday to go over. Yeah. I really wish they did. They probably got advised, like, let's not, because we're gonna go in here. We need to make sure all of this, you know. But my word, I would have loved it. Because all of them, all because I'm telling you right now, they didn't release all. I mean, we're not even getting the year's worth of text messages from Blake Lively. No, Rosa is the website designer. We didn't even get there was one exhibit that was a year worth. Ekala is, I don't know if Ekala's in the space, but Ekala and I were so excited for that one. Only to find out. What a disappointment. Oh, FYI, y'all. Now I'm seeing Yarn and Order here. I did a 17 questions with Bocce with Yarn and Order, and so if you ever go to my page and go on playlists, like and you'll see 17 questions with Bocce, and Sarah's the second episode. Okay. Melissa, what's this one? Okay, more of Sage stuff. $12.33.104 text. Not gonna read that. None of these things are really that interesting. Not. Okay, 116. Well, this might be worth it, even though it's in 116. What does it say? I guess I didn't want to continually read the Sage ones because I feel like I did read the Sage ones when it first came out. Text messages. Okay. So says hi, Elizabeth says hi. Emailed you both the below. Hi everyone. Thank you again for sending us the suit and statements. We are working on more stories, and I'm doing a deep dive into possible outcomes. I wanted to share what we have posted so far. More to come. Justin Baldoni sues Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for $400 million, alleging defamation, extortion over It Ends With Us. And then she sends People Magazine article. It is Elizabeth. Okay. I was about to say, I will tell you that Benjamin Van Hoos is always the one that's like pro Blake. So if you ever see anything from Benjamin Van Hoos, you know it's going to have a Blake slant. But if you see Benjamin Van Hoos with like Elizabeth or another person, some other person in their byline, usually that means he has to say something positive or helpful towards Justin Baldoni, because you can't lose your access to Blake and all that stuff. So you can't be looking like you're siding with the enemy. So you got to have another person in the byline that is the one that has Justin's perspective incorporated in there. So either if there's anything positive about Justin Baldoni in an article Benjamin Van Hoos is on, usually there's another person in the byline, or he's not the one writing it. It's going to be like Elizabeth. So one, Justin Baldoni claims Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift pressured him to accept Blake Lively's It Ends With Us rewrite. Justin Baldoni alleges Blake Lively joked about his nose on It Ends With Us set, told him he should get plastic surgery. Justin Baldoni alleges Blake Lively never read It Ends With Us book before making movie. It worried her colleagues. Okay, Blake, these are all true statements, though. These are like literally all true. These are not smears. These are like just straight up. You said it yourself. You didn't read it, and that's part of your process. That's part of your process not to read it. Justin Baldoni's team blasts Blake Lively amid $400 million lawsuit. We have received death threats. I mean, and they have. And that's the thing that really annoys me. Actually, one of the things that annoys me is whenever Blake Lively's side acts like they're the only ones that got death threats. Every stinking person did. Every stinking person. And then they had the audacity. No, I'm not going to bring that thing up, but anyways, Blake Lively compared self to Khaleesi in alleged text to Justin Baldoni called Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift her dragons. And then Melissa says, ER, you really are a true loyal friend that is interested in telling the truth, and none of us will ever forget it. I owe you the biggest hug when I see you. So this is what I will say. Like, you can tell from which one she writes, right? Because, and so before people were like, oh no, this person is, yeah, just in the same way that Benjamin Van Hoos writes things this pro Blake. I mean, that's why I roll my eyes when people are like, oh my word, you have friendly reporters. They're trying to keep having any access towards any of these people. Work by money, power, and access. And that's why I think to some degree people turn to content creators, right or wrong, for some of like the unfiltered stuff, because we don't have access to these people. I mean technically they watch our stuff. There's no way they don't, right? So I guess I can't say that, but we don't have whatever this is. We don't have what Benjamin Van Hoos has with Blake Lively. We don't have what Elizabeth has with Melissa Nathan. You know what I mean? Yeah, and if it's the truth, can it be a smear campaign? No. Smear campaigns in essence have to be false things. And all of the things that we've been reading are true. I mean, factually true. So, how people perceive it to be a negative or positive thing, that's up to them. But like I told you, other people looked at the nose joke as a negative thing. I saw it as a positive thing, because I saw it as her not having an issue with him yet, that she was still ball busting him. Okay, Elizabeth says we have like 2 more stories going up. Haha. And I'm working on a deep dive for tomorrow or Monday regarding outcomes. Elizabeth says Justin Baldoni claims in lawsuit that Blake Lively named It Ends With Us after party drink after film's abuser. And random, Ryan Reynolds seen out for walk same day Justin Baldoni filed $400 million lawsuit against him and Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni claims Blake Lively urged Isabella Ferreira to shun him despite her allegedly calling It Ends With Us set safe. And Elizabeth says, check email. And Bryan says, thank you for being excellent. Elizabeth says, just doing my job. Okay. Well, that told me nothing that I didn't already know. I guess it told me definitively what I thought I already knew. I guess. Is this the... Okay, we're not going to read this. We've read this a million times and it's hilarious. It's them trying to put up the website and wondering why the PDFs weren't whatever. It's when we realized how endearing Jamie Heath was in his inability to figure out why things weren't working out. But actually, at the same time, he was right. It wasn't working, and they did fix it. Alexandra, thank you for joining. I don't know how much longer I will be. I probably should end this. I'm trying to not go over 2 hours. Because it gets, but sometimes I really get into it, and then I'm like, and plus it's 9:56, and I got work tomorrow. But trying not to go. Like, remember? Do you remember that time? Oh wait, no, that was a TikTok live. What? How many hours was it? It was like 13 hours. It was like a no, maybe it was 11 hours. It was like an 11-hour live. Um, Alexandra Bocci, I hope you join Katie Inc. in case Katie and KC live on Friday. I think that's what's Yarn and Order, isn't it not? And also again, shout out to Yarn and Order. But I believe Yarn and Order is joining for that one, if I recall properly. But maybe one day. I mean, Katie's got a huge one. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I'll probably put it in my community post to let folks know about it. Um, about the video that she did today. I mean, I think she invited me at some point. Yeah, but I don't know if she invited me for Friday. I think she invited me in general, like when I can. Or when she wants, or when she needs, or when we can both do. I'm gonna be on vacation soon. Sometimes I act like I'm already on vacation to some degree. Um, but yeah, no, but her and Sarah are doing something. I don't want to invade the space, especially if that's something they've worked on already. Okay, so we're gonna do 121. This one I've not read. So this, even though I hate reading things that's way after the fact, when they were already in the whole litigation, I'm like, I'll s- I'll still read this one. Thanks, Alexandra. I appreciate that. So Allison said, I'd love to write about the website. Will it be all emails and WhatsApp between JB, Blake, you, Jen, etc.? And will it be coming this week or next? Wondering if I can do a story in the column Friday. Also on the sexual harassment claims, the complaint refers a lot to filmed footage. Does this unedited footage still exist? Hope you're bearing up. Triple X. And Melissa says, hi, and yes, it's everything. Videos, footage, etc. Okay, so this was their plan originally. So there must have been like a conversation saying, nope. Um, and then it says, Melissa sends a copy of it, a copy of the lawsuit. Thanks, Christina. I think my concern was always just like when I go on this vacation, like I had such a momentum on my channel. Like, will this month and next month, like, literally be like barely any views of anything? Because really, like, videos die after a while, unless there's a mechanism that prompts people to rewatch old videos or whatever. But then who would want to watch old videos? But then at the same time, watching old videos is kind of interesting because sometimes more things come out and you're like, dang, I hear this old video differently now because so much more evidence have come out since then. But anyways, that's why I kind of like watching old, like year-old videos of myself, and I'm like, my word, I thought that. I really thought Blake Lively had more of a case than she actually does. I after like these unsealings, I'm like, I realized that Blake Lively has less evidence than I think than I think I thought she had last year. Like, I thought she had way more, and she really doesn't. KRC said, I have watched your older videos lately. You have. Thank you. I appreciate that. Allison says, I've just been seeing this. It's just beautiful because very simply and uncontestably, it proves a lie in her initial complaint. Okay. Yeah. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni bombshell clip reveals truth abuse. Allison said, tell me about the website plans if you can. Is when, what address, etc., triple X. And Melissa said, a huge lie. I mean, that in itself being sexual harassment when there are so many women and men who actually suffer with that is not right. I will. Honestly, I think it's really strong PR move, and it's something that no one has ever done before. So if we can do something around that. And Allison says, I agree. It's an absolute revolution and I'm here for it. And Melissa gives a heart. And Allison says, by the way, I'm meeting Nicola. Ah, is it who? Nicola. I'm sorry. I'm a big Bridgerton. Well, I shouldn't say I'm a big Bridgerton fan, but I really love Nicola Coughlan and Luke Newton from season 3. And so when I read Nicola, it makes me think of that, but obviously it's probably not who she's talking about. By the way, I'm meeting Nicola for lunch on the patio at the Polo Lounge Friday, 28th Feb. Let me know if you're able to, would like to join. If not, let's do a cocktail if that works. Melissa said, yes, absolutely. I love Nick. She's my fave. Allison says, great. I'll call them tomorrow and see if they can make it a 3. And triple X. And then Melissa says, amazing. Allison says, comments on the story are great. Let me know when you can on the website and see you soon. Triple X. All right. But I guess Blake Lively shared that as proof of her talking to newspapers, news outlets. Okay. Blake, would find that for you too. This is not like, who really? I don't understand. This is like PR people talking to it's a non thing. This is not important. It's not important to her case. Or maybe she's trying to make it. All it keeps saying is that you're a liar. So you continue to put stuff in here saying maybe in Blake Lively's mind, it will make her supporters think that these people are saying she's a liar when she's not really a liar. Well, it's the one through line that they've said from the get-go that you've been lying. So I don't even know. Chrissy Crafty said, have you seen Bridgerton season 4 part 1, Bachi? I fell asleep, not because of the show, but because sometimes, doing this stuff, like working in the morning and then coming and doing this stuff at night, if I watch something, eventually I just fall asleep. So I don't think I even got through the first episode before I fell asleep. And I know Sarah wanted to do a show on Bridgerton for us to talk about it. So like my two worlds can mesh. Because I first started TikTok doing Lucala content around Bridgerton season 3. Oh, I just realized this is from Andy of Popcorn Planet. But then this is also 121. So this doesn't say anything. I almost thought she had something, but this is 120. They were already like, I don't know. They're already in a lawsuit. But then what does this say? Let's go. What does it say? Melissa says, hi, it's Melissa. Just so you have me. Popcorn Planet said, got you. Melissa said, let's chat in the afternoon and feel free to use the video. And you can say that Bryan Freedman sent it to you. We are being so truthful, so we don't care that anything is coming from us, honestly. Popcorn Planet said, already posted. Okay, this is what he sent. He put out the statement. Again. Blake. Okay. Blake Lively caught lying about Justin Baldoni. Full video evidence from it ends with us revealed. And Melissa said, oh, amazing. Sorry, this morning has just been so crazy. And I'm also helping out on this charitable thing with the fires and taking my kid to school and trying to unruin my life from a celebrity. Popcorn Planet said, understood. You are West Coast. You want to chat after today or tomorrow? Melissa said, yes, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Popcorn Planet said, I'm EST, and I'll be finishing my live around then. So I'll text you after between 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Melissa said, okay, perfect. Popcorn Planet, sorry, available now or can set time tomorrow. Melissa said, shall we set up time tomorrow? Melissa said, we just issuing the statement in response to her BS. Prior to filing her lawsuit in court, Ms. Lively went to the New York Times in an effort To publicly destroy Justin Baldoni when Mr. Baldoni exercises his right to publicly defend himself by putting forth actual facts and evidence for Miss Lively and his and team. This instantly becomes morally and ethically wrong. Miss Lively wants very different standards to apply to her, but fortunately, truth and authenticity apply to everyone and can never be wrong. Looking at the video and the evidence to come, I can understand why Miss Lively would now not want this to play out in public. I agree. Okay, that's it about that. If these are just chat text messages with outlets, I mean, I'll still read them because I find that interesting, but I don't. I just. Oh, this is with Sarah. Um, I just laugh because they're such siblings. You know, I mean, they are siblings, but they have such sibling energy. Uh, on Zooms already. Melissa said, of course. Is Carolina still working with you? Says Sarah. Melissa sends a bunch of stuff. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni clip. Melissa, yes. Sarah said, ooh, well done. Melissa said it's going everywhere. Sarah said, good. Apparently, it's 2,000 views a minute. Did you send to P6? Who's P6? Is that Popcorn Planet? What is P6? Melissa said, and it's the banner. No, who should I send it to? Oh, never mind. Oh, page 6. Hello. Oh, everybody's not letting me know in the chat now. I was a little slow in the, I'm telling you, it's time. It's time for me to go to sleep. Apparently, because I'm like, what is that? Come on. Sarah provides a name, sends an image. What's the name of the plastic surgeon again? Sends a how lawyer let them do this. Oh my word. That's why we're saying that if I should say if or when Blake Lively loses, she's going to sue her lawyers for malpractice. I mean, we were joking about her suing her lawyers for malpractice, but they will, because how did a lawyer let them do this? Like, really? Like, if they are, I mean, every day I think about the fact that her lawyers have generational wealth on lockdown right now because of this case. And how did a lawyer let them do this? Because they were thinking about ching, 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 like money, 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 coming in, money, 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 money. That's what made them do it. Money. Oh, I mean, what else possesses them to have over almost 1,000? What? Over 1,200 filings in a case that's just a little over a year old. Yeah, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. Kenny says, absolutely. if the lawyers are like, she's off her rocker, but I mean, we'll take that money. Well, what a waste of our time and taxpayer money. I will say that. Okay, 122. Another one from Elizabeth. Do you have a comment regarding Blake's new letter? Melissa said, you mean the way they asked the court to gag the lawyer? Elizabeth says, yes, I'm sick and just woke up. Melissa says, sources close to Baldoni believe it's grossly unfair to impose a gag order after Justin has been defamed by the New York Times in an article that they say has cost him 3 jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars. All Justin wants to do, the source says, is release videos and text messages to prove the allegations are false. The source adds, it's unbelievable that Blake Lively would go on a takedown campaign against Justin and then immediately turn around and say she wants a gag order so that Justin can't defend himself. Elizabeth says, thank you. Melissa says, oh, feel better, X. Elizabeth says, thank you, sending in your statement now. Can we put this in quotes to use it? Otherwise, we'll need to use partial. Melissa said, use it however you want. Elizabeth says, thank you. I literally woke you when you texted me and I'm looking at our stories today. We're being really rude to Ryan and Blake. Really? So maybe we're wrong about People magazines. I guess it depends on which articles we notice. And Blake, and then it says amid ongoing legal battle. We didn't need to mention in the headline, LMAO. Oh, Ryan Reynolds, Harvard Business School talk amid Justin Baldoni legal battle. Oh, okay. So they're putting this because Ryan got hit. Ryan got some hit. Is that why? I don't know. Okay. Oh, maybe they're saying if they were willing to. Again, it's fat. I mean, what? I don't know. Maybe I should care more than Okay, we already read this one too. Maybe I should care more than I do about like, but I just don't think it proves anything of her case. That's the thing that I find annoying about it. I'm like, okay, maybe I keep asking for proof, and this is her proof. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I just don't. Maybe that's a problem. I just don't find her. I just don't find her proof convincing. Okay. How much longer before I can? How much more before I need to go? Okay. Okay, let's see here. December 23. So this is December 23. And this is 1233 112. This is email. So it starts off with Chloe from NBC Universal saying, Jen and Melissa, Amber Heard says she also experienced a smear campaign. She does not get into specifics. Wanted to see if you all had a response. She does not name tag or reference Justin, but I wanted to CC you both. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Chloe, says. And then Bryan Freedman responds on the same day. Chloe, Johnny Depp did not retain tag for the trial, as you are well aware. Please put in who he did retain. Matthew Hilsig and Hilsig Strategies. Feel free to forward this email to him, as we know you will. Given your close relationship with Stephanie Jones and you're withholding the truth, I would tread lightly if I were you, since you're the next one to be sued. I'm excited about that. Bryan! Oh, Bryan. Okay. I won't let Stephanie Jones use you in the same way she used you for all of her other clients. Wait a minute. Is this Bryan? Bryan? You can use this on record statement from me. Tag PR must be the most powerful group of publicists the world has ever seen for it to be able to completely change the perception of both Amber Heard and Blake Lively. The only correlation between both individuals was that for decades, every move they had made has been out there for everyone to see, widely filmed and documented for the public to make up their own minds, which they did organically. All you have to do is watch the interviews that still remain if they have not already been scrubbed by their crisis PR teams, which is apparently their crisis team's next move, since that's what crisis teams do. They protect their clients. Bryan Freedman. He's so snarky. Am I amused by it? I am amused by it, but like, dang. I mean, it's not exactly how I imagine lawyers to speak, though, to be honest. But it is how I guess I've learned that Bryan Freedman speaks. But it is funny. Okay. February 5, February 4. Okay. And 5. 2, 5. Okay. Adam says, Jennifer, can you send me your cell, please? And Jen says, I'm not available to chat. However, can you please amend the article in the meantime? Thank you. Bryan. Bryan! It just. Okay, Bryan says on February 5, you're a liar and dishonest, and we are drafting letters and a lawsuit against you personally. But you didn't. You didn't, Bryan. This is the second person you said you're going to do this to. You have had you have had that transcript from the court hearing and have defamed our client intentionally. I will never, ever let up going after you for the rest of my career. Someone better make this right immediately. You're hanging up the phone. Your arrogance and your incompetence will never be tolerated. I'm coming after you in every legal way possible. To my team, start drafting. He's talking to Adam from NBC. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I know it's fun to read because he's funny, okay? But really, it makes me cringe personally because he's a lawyer. I don't want my lawyer to be talking like this. I think he's funny as a if he was a non-lawyer, these clapbacks are great and everything. Okay. But personally, I'm not a fan. I told folks this in the beginning that I'm not a fan of Bryan's version of lawyering. It's not my cup of tea. It's just not. It feels disrespectful. It feels over the top and dramatic, but I understand he serves a purpose. Okay, I understand he serves a purpose. And a lot of people love Bryan, just like Jungle right here loves Bryan. Now, did I have fun reading this email? Yes, it's funny, but it's not funny to me. Also, as him being a lawyer, I would laugh like this if it was like, I don't know. So it just doesn't. I I don't know. So when it's just not my cup of tea. And that's okay. And not everybody's cup of tea, right? So, and I'm fine with that because a lot of people do love this way of speaking as a lawyer. It's just I I'm a Kevin Fritz fan, you know? Flat White Friday says it ain't that professional, but I guess it gets people upset and mad and puts them in position that might make them untethered. Exactly what a lawyer wants. I definitely think he does it with a purpose for sure. But I guess I'm old school around professionalism and all that stuff. I'm a really a big fan of Kevin Fritz and even Ellen, but Kevin Fritz, I feel like can get snarky, but professionally snarky. You know, where he could just like it's still professional, but it's a zinger. You know, um, but I don't know. But it's just personal preference. It's not a big deal. Um, I get why other people love it. I don't mind it. Um, yeah. Yeah, he is using it to make people back down, but but if you don't follow through, then it just feels like the boy who cried wolf, because that's the second person. He's like, I'm going to, but none of those folks. And I mean, who's gonna sue, really? Hannah said, I can't get over that BL's lawyer Meryl looks like me. Meryl Gravinsky. Okay. Okay, I had to look. I had to look. Okay. In case folks want to know. That's Meryl right there. Okay. Okay, I think, let's see where this is. I might do one more document after this and end at 115, the document number or attachment number 115, maybe. We'll find out. Okay, this is 2/6/2025. I can't believe that so much of her proof is when they were already in lawsuits. Like, she really doesn't believe anybody has the right to defend themselves except her. Okay, so Jason Sunshine said, did TMZ ever get back to you? I gather they didn't run the story. Melissa said, nope, didn't get back to me. I'm just going through all the scenarios in my head, and I feel like whatever fake documents this says, they're also going to use it in their amended complaint. I'm just going through all the scenarios in my head, and I feel like whatever fake documents this says, they're also going to use it in their amended complaint. Jason said, I feel like if there were real documents, TMZ would have run with it. They obviously have serious doubts. We'll see if their lawyers actually use this in the amended complaint. I agree, but what are they planning for next week? Jason said, if these are real HR complaints, that should not be that hard to determine if all of the evidence is pointing otherwise. I think they're going to sue Bryan, probably Jed, not sure who else or what else. This is when those 3 fake HR complaints were trying to be peddled. Remember that? And yet the one peddling it wouldn't even willingly tell her own audience, but she was trying to get Justin Baldoni content creators to do her dirty work because she was not willing to do it herself, because she's got to know that was not real, even though she's out there trying to claim that Sony told her that it was real. Anybody who's had any HR background or any understanding of HR knows that no HR person would ever write something that looks like that. They would never be that inflammatory. They would stay factual. And the fact that there was just so many things wrong. There were so many things wrong in those fake HR complaints. Melissa says, I'm going to sports bet you that they are going to add someone from the set, an actress. You think as a plaintiff? Yes. That would be wild and would indeed catch me off guard. Melissa says, I know. Jason said, do you really think that Jenny Slate wants to do that? Melissa says, no, because BF went ballistic on her lawyer and manager today and they swore no. Jason says, but her allegations are such garbage. He called her sexy once. That's not sexual harassment for legal purposes. Wait, what exactly did Bryan say to her manager and lawyer? Who else could it be? Isabella Ferreira hasn't alleged anything improper. Melissa said he said that her career would be over if she backs this horse sort of thing, and they said she had no intention, but who knows? Jason says she also simply hasn't alleged anything that serious. Melissa says they are desperate. Jason said Blake should drop her lawsuit. This is also effing stupid. And Melissa said, and I agree. I second this. I as many times as I can second and third and fourth to a bazillionth infinity. The most stupid ever. A waste of time and resources. And taxpayer money. Taxpayer money. What a waste. Jason says she better be careful or Muffin will come after her. Who's Muffin? Oh, the Muff. Oh, followed by Charlie. Oh, they're doggies. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, look at that. Look at Charlie. So cute. Oh. These messages between Jason Sunshine and Melissa Nathan is so relatable. Like it hits me to my core. And again, this is Blake Lively's like proof, her evidence. I guess what is she saying is this proving? I don't know how this helps her. They think you're desperate. They think that you're trying to maybe they're trying to say, oh, it's witness intimidation. Maybe that's what they're saying. Maybe that's what they're saying. I just hear like no, even if they didn't like, there's they got nothing. They really do. I mean, I don't know. Okay, last one. I think maybe we'll find out. Um, 211, 210, 210. Okay, 210. Oh, this is email. This is email. All right. Bryan, Jed, my colleague Winston and I published coverage of the defamation filing on Wednesday. Blake Lively sued defamation Jed Wallace. I'm now at work on follow-up coverage pertaining to Jed and his work. It'll encompass previously publicized legal actions dating back to the dispute involving Bam Margera. Bryan has represented that show's franchise producer. Okay. If Jed or any representative wishes to provide any further response to them, please let me know. I'd also like to request here to speak generally about his professional activities. Separately, I've learned that Jed worked on behalf of at least one Bravo unscripted showcast member in Bryan's recent reality reckoning campaign. Please advise if inaccurate or if there's any further context. I have a few other questions. Have you both worked together in the past on activities related to electronic reputation protection services, a subsidiary of Bryan's legal practice? Attorney Christopher Frost and his client Christian Lang previously told me on the record that Christian was subject to social media manipulation campaign and a lawsuit in which Bryan represented the other side. They said Bryan and his firm hired third parties to pursue this endeavor. Was Jed one of these third parties? Jed was described in the Bam Margera litigation by attorneys for defendant Paramount Pictures as a leading expert in developing and assisting in the execution of treatment and recovery plans. If this is an accurate and fair description, if so, what, if any, relevant training and pertinent experience does Jed possess in addiction treatment? THR's reporting deadline is 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Gary says, Bryan, Jed, this is a reminder of the deadline. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I can be reached here on my cell at... And then Bryan said... Oh, Bryan says, Gary, your facts are not even remotely accurate, and you actually know it. For transparency, you need to disclose how much money Marvel and Disney have paid Penske Media Corporation and the Hollywood Reporter so that your motivation is clear to the readers. Social media influencers are extremely smart and will see through what you're trying to do. You will be on the wrong side of history. Gary responds, Bryan, I've reread your response several times. I honestly don't follow regarding Marvel, Disney, PMC, and my own purported motivations. What's the connection to this coverage? And Bryan says, oh, I have to add February 11. Is this a new stream? Gelth Walker says no. This is the same stream. Off the record, you're wrong and could not have anything credible to support these assertions. I know because of I've never worked with him on these. I know you are relying on non-credible sources. There is a conflict of interest when a media company slash publisher takes in tens of millions in dollars in advertising and fails to disclose it while attempting to write a story that favors those advertisers. I have shed the New York Times I have sued, I think. I have sued the New York Times for defamation, and there are 3 other defamation cases pending. Well, what were those other ones? I have authority to sue PMC. Maybe it's Blake Lively's lawsuit. Oh, wait, what? No, this is Blake Lively's lawsuit. Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. I have authority to sue PM. Oh, okay. I have authority to sue PMC, THR, and you personally if you print untruths. Bryan, I also have violations of journalistic ethics given the failure to disclose the financial inventive that Penske and you personally have received. Oh, it's got to be incentive. Reputation protection services never did a thing. It never operated, but in any event, print anything wrong and you will be sued and it will be devastating. Pam McClickton has a personal relationship with Ryan. Oh, we have witnesses. And I will sue and I will change the incompetence and targeting to PMC has exhibited. You may also be aware of health issues with certain people you are attacking. That will not play well, Gary. Be careful. I'm coming hard off the record. When I respond, it will be a serious piece on you and PMC. All off the record. I have asked for financial income received from Disney, Marvel, and THR from Penske. You have refused to provide. I will serve a third-party subpoena. Jason, please draft. Add Gary individually off the record. Okay. Okay, Bryan. Pam McClinton is also the one that did the story on Melissa. I still can't get past. There was a text that Ryan Reynolds wrote, and when Blake Lively, when Melissa Nathan's friend told when Melissa's friends told her that she accidentally leaked that she was the crisis PR for Justin, she said something in that conversation that was just like Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Reynolds' text, and it stood out to me, and I wish I could remember. Because I was like, what if Ryan was still really behind that? I don't know. Anyways, well, we got to see Bryan's personality more, I suppose. So, but that's it for me tonight, y'all. Have a great night. I'm gonna try to sleep. Bye.